Good morning, everyone. Nadine Green from the C-Suite Group. Hope everyone is wonderful today. I have a special person with me. Her name is Stephanie Scheller, and she is from Grow Disrupt. I met her this year at Enterprising Women, where we were both award winners, so super exciting. And what I love most about her is she has really done a deep dive for me into like marketing and broke it down for me, right? So we know as busy owners, we are sometimes very distracted. And Stephanie has a very interesting superpower. So she does events, but takes it from a scientific perspective of neuroscience. And why I find this really interesting is it goes back to my speech pathology roots and the cognition, and I find that so interesting. But there's one thing I do have to tell you about her. She, during COVID, was able to double her business without adding spend. So I'm sure you all want to know about that, right? Better marketing, not adding any expense. Super cool. So, Stephanie, thanks for being here today. I am really excited about the conversation. So,
Thank
one
you.
of the things that I struggle with, and perhaps other people struggle with, is when people ask me what I do, I tell them, and they kind of go, huh? And give me that deer in the headlights look, right? So clearly, I know what I do, but I'm not articulating it in a way that it resonates with other
Yeah.
people. So nobody gets it. Can you talk about that and like what is a good way for people to really find out what their unique selling proposition is or how to articulate what they do to people?
Yes. Okay. I love this because this ties into one of my favorite quotes, which is this idea of you can't read the label from inside the bottle. What you just said sums up the real heart of the issue here, and that is we do what we do every day. We live and breathe a million pieces of it. And being able to pick out which stuff is going to make the biggest splash in the marketplace is really hard. I actually had someone else do this for me. I do this all day, every day. Like you said, like sometimes doing it for ourselves is, yeah, hi, hello, it's me. I'm the problem. I actually had someone else do this for me a few years back when we were chatting and we were just chatting. And I mentioned hey, yeah, I doubled the events business during COVID. We were on like a $0 a month like ad spend without increasing our marketing budget at all. And he looked at me, he goes, why is this not everywhere? Everyone wants to know how to do this. You did the impossible, an industry that was shut down without increasing your ad spend, without increasing your marketing budget. What did you do? And why are you not talking about this? And I was like, I don't know. I just did it. And so my advice there is honestly, you're probably not going to be able to get to the root of that one. You're going to want to get with an outside perspective. Now, here's the cool thing. Right now, we are like in this burgeoning age of AI, and there's a lot of really cool stuff. What I would recommend is, especially if you're not in a position to work with someone who does this every day, all day for other people, you can even just go to GPT and say, I'm really having a hard time helping people understand what I do. Can I tell you about my target market and everything that I do? And you can help sum it up for me, and we can find a message that makes sense. And start there. And then, yeah, give it as much detail as you can about your target market. Give it as much detail as you can about what you do and all the various pieces. And then don't be afraid to go back and be like, oh, and I forgot, and add this in. And then say, how would you explain what I do in a single sentence in a way that would speak to my audience? And if it gives you an answer you don't like, don't be afraid to tell it that didn't work. And hey, you know what? I kind of liked XYZ. I still do this all the time. I actually joke because I just had something recently happen with our new brand, the ADHD iOS. And I would tell people about it all the time. And I would get like, that is really cool, but kind of like the blank, that is really cool.
Yeah.
And it was GPT that was able to help me like sum it up into just a single sentence. So, like, just know you're not alone and leverage outside resources to help find that succinctness because it's going to be priceless.
Yeah, that is such great advice. And I'm glad you raised AI, right? So AI it's the new tool in the toolkit for sure.
Yep.
And I think that's a great start. I may go back and do that for myself as soon as we get off of this conversation. But I think there's an important point there is that's a start. But
Yeah.
using people then to magnify that, help magnify that in different ways is super important, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm a believer. We want to be as owners, founders. We can't be everything to everyone. You're an expert in marketing events and that creative space.
Yeah.
I certainly am not more in the operation space. So I think that is such a key point, but you're giving such good advice. It's like just start somewhere. Um,
Yeah, and I always throw out there like if anyone wants to, I'm pretty easy to find. Connect with me and be like, "Hey, this is kind of what I got to my messaging."
Right.
And I'm always happy to just shoot back a quick like, "I loved XYZ about this. This didn't make sense." Like I'm always happy to provide feedback. And like it doesn't have to be a whole like let's do a big analysis and brand audit and stuff like that. We don't have to go that far, but I'm always happy to try and help, especially small business owners who are trying to figure that stuff out, make it super clear. So
I
I'm
do
open
have
to
a
that.
I do have a follow-up question now that you've raised AI, right? It is
Mhm.
the new shiny tool in the toolkit.
Yeah.
And I feel like all day long, I am, especially on LinkedIn, I am brushed by like all these tools and let me help grow your business and this and that. And it's like, I don't know what to focus on. Can you help some of, I guess, the people in my universe and my network understand? Like, how do you filter out that noise and like what are the things we should be focused on and what are the strategies that help move the needle for the business?
Yeah. I that's a really good question. I'm going to give you like the 3 minute maybe overview of what is usually a 90-minute training that I do and is the chunk of the book, my book. So the short version is how do you figure out which tactics are going to be the most helpful? Or there's kind of two questions there. One is how do you figure out which tactics, and then how do you like sort through all of the shiny objects? So shiny object syndrome, as far as marketing goes, my best tip on that one is to set up a once a month CMO meeting or chief marketing officer meeting. So go to your calendar and set up a once an hour, 1 hour chunk of time, either at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, and your job inside of this 1 hour chunk of time, I have it as a reoccurring calendar invite. And your job in this one chunk of time is to evaluate what have we been doing and how is it working? What changes do we need to make? Now, inside of what changes do we need to make, you're going to look at all the stuff you've been doing and how it's been performing. And if you need to cancel things, adjust messaging, adjust outreach, whatever. But you're also going to look at new tactics, strategies, ideas that have shown up over the past month.
Mhm.
So as we get bombarded with all of these, you should do, let me add, let me ask them for info, put it into your calendar invite so it's easy to find when you go to do this. And now you can evaluate them against each other and against what you're already doing to make sure it's actually going to work. And then the third thing you'll do is just start implementing. So either block time on your calendar to do the work you need to do, or send out instructions to your contractors or your employees or your vendors on what adjustments you want. So that kind of helps on the like, how do you avoid the shiny marketing, shiny syndrome, the squirrel concept? The idea of trying to figure out what do I do? That's going to come back to when I talk about marketing, and you even brought it up, even though I don't know if we talked about this, I talk about the key to marketing is creativity. It's
Mhm.
not consistency. Everyone goes, oh, you need to post. It's not. It's creative. It's being creative. And when we talk creativity, everyone has two misconceptions about it. One is that you're either creative or you're not. It's something you're born with. And that is not true. That's talent, and talent will never beat hard work, right? Creativity is a skill set. It is something that we learn. The second misconception we have about creativity is that it flourishes when it is like unbound and free and it has no structures to hold it back. And that's also not how that works. In every creative endeavor, I paint, I play the violin, I write books, I write fantasy books. In all of them, there is a structure. And when you learn the structure, you can learn where to flex it and tweak it and play inside of it and get really creative. When we have a framework, we can get really creative to find what is going to be most effective and least costly to market our businesses. And that framework, what I teach people that it's the 3 M's of marketing. It is your target market. And this doesn't have to be a niche. A lot of people will be like, oh my God, you got a niche down. You could have 6 target markets. I don't care. they do need to be differentiated and defined. You need to know this is one of my niches, and this is another one, and this is another one, and this is another one. A lot of people say you need to niche down because it's memorable, and I get that. But if your message is really emotionally evocative, people will remember you. If you're getting content and stuff out there, people will remember you. So you don't have to niche down. It's not a requirement. Two is your marketing message, and that needs to be emotional. It needs to be a story you tell people that goes beyond just I'm a COO or I put on events, right? Our message is not that we put on our events. Our message is that we create space for ADHDers to reconnect with what's great about them and what they need to do to grow personally and professionally. And it shifts the kind of marketing we put out. It's much more exciting for people. And then once you have those two things, it's very easy to go, is this new idea of a tactic going to share my message to my target market? And if the answer is no to either of those, then you don't run that tactic. So
Mm.
there you go. That was a little more than 3 minutes, but
Amazing advice. And of course, for me, I'm all about the structure. So that was a really great point, and I love the point you made about creativity. Um, I know we are at the end, sadly, but if you have time to check out Grow Disrupt, and any of the books that you have written, obviously Stephanie is an avid author and certainly creative in many aspects, but certainly do check out Grow Disrupt, to chat some more over, if you're trying to get unhinged from the marketing wagon and really grow your business and really understand what marketing can do for your business. So check her out. And I'm just thrilled to be having this conversation with you. It was great fun.
thank you for having me. This was great. Thanks, Nadine.
Take care.